Hello and welcome back to the Skillwork Forum. As a reminder, we get together once a week or so, Brett and I, and we talk about ways, innovative solutions, things that maybe can help you with your challenge in the skilled trades arena. I'm Tim. This is my partner, Brett, from Skillwork. And today we're going to be talking about, I think, a concept that's near and dear to all of us that run businesses or try to solve problems is that, when we go to look at a problem, typically we want a long-term solution. We want to solve the problem, get it done, tuck it away, and move on to the next thing. All of us want to have a permanent solution. This is certainly the case when looking at our skilled trade deficit, the talent deficit that's out there, and the challenge that continues to be front and center in many of our businesses now. It's a challenge. We all recognize it. We want to solve it. We want to have a permanent, long-term solution. However, a lot of times what we're facing are the need to solve a short-term problem today. So even though we may desire to have a longer-term solution to the situation, it takes kind of a mix of approaches to this. We want to kind of talk about what that might look like in our experience working with some companies that have taken on some of these approaches.
Yep, no, absolutely. It's always interesting. We probably had a general thought of this a couple years ago when we started Skillwork, to solve the skilled talent shortage or at least be a part of that. But it's interesting, a lot of times as you get into things, you learn from your own customers, even more. So one of our largest customers, kind of helped us further understand this reality. They're a large manufacturer with facilities across the U.S., and they had the resources, so they had done the study and were really looking into the skilled trade shortage kind of when they first came and started talking to us. And the looming increase in that shortage led them to recognize that this wasn't a short-term problem, that they recognized that this was likely a 15 to 17-year issue to begin to solve. So that issue, that over the past 20 years we had devalued the trades and hence the number of people pursuing the trades. And then they also recognized that their own workforce of baby boomers that were going to be retiring in the next 5 to 7 years made this a growing and long-term problem. And so, we talk about it, sometimes that the skilled trade shortage didn't happen overnight, and so it's probably not going to get solved overnight. The problem, Tim, as we've worked with this particular company and other companies, is that you got to be able to, as a business, look at it from a little bit more of a broader macro sense and recognize that this is going to require a multi-step and multi-year solution. You're not going to find anybody that's going to come in and get you a couple people, solve the problem, and everything goes away. So, it's kind of there has to be the long term is you got to invest in the long term, which in this case is getting young people back interested in the skilled trades, or getting even somebody that's maybe in their 30s or 40s to say, hey, I'm going to go back and learn a trade. So that's especially in the younger generation in the schools, that's a true long-term investment.
Right.
And so, we encourage companies every day, that absolutely do that. The issue is that's a tomorrow solution for a today problem, and because you have a shortage today. And what we do at Skillwork is we basically stand in that gap. We can provide you the today solution because, as we say, most companies' life cycle will not support a 15-year solution.
Right.
You're going to be out of business, especially if your competition is solving it today by looking for companies like us that can basically bridge that gap. So,
yeah, and you mentioned that solving a tomorrow problem doesn't help you today, and we often talk about even trying to solve your today problem with an old approach is not working either. So we kind of work on both ends of that. We have a new approach to be able to help you solve the today problem, but it does require a mix of these things. And like I said, a lot of companies, especially some of the smaller companies we work with, they don't have the resources to work on a 15-year strategy. As you mentioned, their life cycle for them, strategic thinking is 3 months.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but they need to be able to try to solve what they need to run their business to today, which is where we come in. We also have partnered with this company Brett mentioned with to work with them on some of their longer term solutions. So we believe firmly in education and training, and even more than that, that's a cultural shift that we're fully supportive of to kind of change the mindset that a career in the trades is a honorable thing. It's a good thing, and it's a wise thing in terms of investment and taking care of your families for the future. So that cultural shift is going to take some time to kind of swing people around to the idea that staying in a career in the trades long term is a viable solution for many.
Well, we talk about it. We've talked about it on several of these forecast or these podcasts, and that is the fact that the shortages is estimated at roughly 1 million people today, growing to 2 million because of this 5 to 7 years of baby boomer retirement and that type of thing. And so that type of a gap, and the reason why some very smart people say this is at least a 15 to 17 year, because to your point, you don't change culture overnight. You don't change people's mindset overnight. It takes a lot of time to get individuals who you need to basically learn the skill and come back into that space. It just doesn't happen quickly.
No, and I couldn't help thinking, you're talking about the cultural shift and how long that's taken. I mean, as we are recording this podcast here, it's late summer, heading into early fall, and looking around at our country right now, that obviously a huge shift in culture and mentality, and that didn't happen overnight either. Right. There was an event that happened, a couple of events, but that was years in the making to get people to the point where we see some of this disruption and even chaos out there. So cultural shifts take time, but when they do change, you better be ready for it. So we believe that there is a now mindset that needs to be in place at companies to solve your today problem, but also you can't afford to not look at this longer term issue and assume that you're going to continue to be able to run your business, get the skilled workers that you need to advance and grow your company using methodologies and ways of thinking that are frankly going by the way of the buggy whip.
Yep, no, for sure. I mean, again, something I've spoken about on the podcast, many times, my background being in the manufacturing space, similar manufacturing space to a lot of our clients. When I was in that space, I wanted permanent solutions to my talent shortage as well. And so, but we got to the point, I think companies are starting to understand, just because you want it doesn't necessarily just make it happen. You have to put steps in place. So if we can find you the talent today, a lot of companies have to understand that little by little we're bridging that gap while you're continuing to invest in the future. And a lot of our guys, will convert to permanent positions. So it's a multi-layered process. Most big problems require several different steps, and I think that's really the encouragement that I would give, and Tim, you would as well, is that don't whether it's us or whether you have your own internal recruiting. We can get into that conversation some other time. about the effectiveness of that, but it's a process, and you've got to lay it out over a period of years to begin to do it. But in the meantime, you got to find things that can bridge that gap, because you've got to be efficient today. You've got to meet your clients' needs, whether it's supply or whether it's construction or whatever it is. They don't, sounds harsh to say, they don't really care about your problem.
Right. That's true.
So
yeah, and you're not going to be around to solve tomorrow's problems if you don't get today's deadlines met and you don't grow your business today. So it just reminded me, an objection that we hear sometimes is, we like to hire permanent. We like permanent hires. We're going to find our guys, and they're going to come here and love us, and they're going to stay forever. And we like that as well. We want to hire people that have that mindset. And that's fine. We work with a lot of companies like that. So, for example, one of our partners, that was their culture. They have a great culture, a long-term company that's had a track record of keeping people, but they've struggled recently with this new generational mindset. So we work with them to say, let us find you explicitly people that fit your culture. We'll get them to you on a short-term assignment. You have the opportunity to see if they're really a good fit for you. Is it really somebody that we want here to be part of our family? Because it's a two-way street, this dating of new workers. They, in turn, can look at your culture, look at the opportunity that you have there, and then if it's a good fit, then there's a permanent solution. So we found them workers that going in knew that the goal, the desire was for them to stay, and they had to have an open mind to that and be willing to do that. So that's something we can look at with you to, again, solve your today problem, but try to make it more of a permanent solution.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's I think companies, ultimately, you need the talent, in our case, skilled, trade talent, to be successful. I think that investment in your business is number one. Then we can kind of layer it to your point, Tim, of if you want us to specialize the recruiting to people that are specifically open. But the key is, one of the reasons why we can, find people that other people can't is because our process allows us to offer that, as you say, that dating experience versus that, hey, I know we haven't met yet, but we'd like you to get married. And so, which isn't quite as attractive to this
Not in our
generation.
culture.
So,
Right. Yeah, it's a great analogy. So it gives you the opportunity to make sure it's a permanent solution, and oftentimes it is. It's surprising to me how often that 3-month assignment turns into a long-term commitment.
Yeah.
So again, the way of attacking a problem is a long-term problem. We're not going to solve the skilled labor shortage overnight. That goes macro across the country, and it goes for your company as well. It's just not something that is an easy solution. We're not going to wave a wand and make it go away. But there's multiple steps and multiple levels of steps to solve this complex problem. And we want to be here to help your company today so you're around and long term to be able to see the fruits of that downstream. So any final thoughts as we kind of wrap up
no, I mean, just
today?
Yeah, no, just that kind of along that line that, we understand it, and we will work with you and partner with you on the fact that you're looking for a permanent solution. I think our I don't know if argument's the right word, but our point would be we are a part of your permanent solution. There's not just if in today's culture, if the talent was out there and getting to an easy permanent solution, you wouldn't be in this struggle. I mean, and every company we talk to is in this struggle.
Right.
And it's not just pay them more money. That if they're not there, they're not there. And so we are part of a permanent solution. It's just going to be a little longer process.
Yeah, and again, your experience may have been, we tried a quote temp company that didn't work out. We're looking for a permanent solution. I would say back to that, you're right, and we're different. There's a different way that we do things. We are looking for permanency. As a matter of fact, every skill worker we hire as our full-time employee, and we intend to keep them full-time. So we're kind of looking for that too. We're in the same boat with you, but we recognize, there may be a way that we can work with you to fill your gap today to work towards a longer-term solution. So help us, or we want to help you rather, to implement both a short and a longer-term solution to your skilled worker challenge. And we'd love it if you'd reach out to us and maybe unpack this a little bit more. Think about partnering with somebody like Skillwork that works on this every day. We work on this challenge every day, both short, mid, and long term. So hopefully the discussion today gave you a little bit more to think about, maybe change your mind a little bit, and think more broadly about how you might be able to solve this skilled labor challenge that you're facing, and some things to implement to help your business. So thank you for joining us today on the Skillwork Forum. For more information on how we might be able to partner with you and help you, please come to our website and check it out, skillwork.com. Until next time, have a blessed day.